Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Centurion's Corner, work in progress of Commander Pons Part 2. Tonight hopefully we'll start getting somewhere with the actual character now, so we're going to start painting him tonight. I've got all the bits on the side already so they can be painted while this guy's drying, and that's why I like getting the accessories done first, so as you're waiting for him to dry you can plug on those little bits and paint those up, and everything can come together really quickly rather than waiting around another day of sort of waiting for the paint to dry. So before we start even getting into paint, we just got to make sure that you've got everything to hand. So we wash the figure first to make sure all as they come out of the factory, the residue of the mould that they pop out could be still on the actual plastic. So if we're painting directly onto the plastic, there could be a surface substance in between the paint and the plastic. There could be that mould. So give it a wash, just warm water and soap. It takes a couple of seconds just to get it all around, and just give it a little scrub. Make sure you've got your clean water and you've got your brushes and you've got a cloth to the side, so you can actually, if you make any mistakes or you've got a little bit too much paint on that brush, just to wipe it off. If you ever do make an error on your figure, don't wipe it straight away, just let that paint dry and then you can pick it with even the scalpel, because if it's wet you're going to merge it over the figure and it could also hard to get off as well, and it'll look horrible if you have to repaint the white. Just always when you sit down as well, just make sure you've got everything to hand. You've got your paints just on the side, what you're going to use. I always have my knife and my brush, and also come with your masking tape as well. That's the last thing you want to do, is hunting around for it. Looking at Captain Pons, I think most of it's going to be freehand, to be honest. I reckon his arm, his upper bicep and his sort of gauntlets, I'm going to have to probably use a bit of masking tape, but apart from that I think most of it's going to be quite freehand, so you'll see a bit of that tonight. And the main things as well before painting, have you been to the toilet? That's the worst thing, is getting up and ruining your flow in all sorts of the ways. And also make sure you've done your chores, because otherwise your wife's going to beat you if you're standing upstairs painting all day. So with that, I'm going to crack on. Okay, I'm going to start with his helmet first. So we've got water and I've got my brushes over here, and we've got our mix paint from the other video, and it's about just getting your right brush, what you need. So I'm going to use a very fine paintbrush. Just to outline the edges of his helmet. And I've got some images on here, but Commander Pons, he's not really got many pictures. He's literally got this main one here, which I'll pop up, and I've got another one. I've got those Instagram sort of pictures that they put up, but his markings on top of his helmet is completely wrong. So I'm going to have a look at that, but I kind of wanted to save it for his lower jaw part, just so I can get a bit of symmetrical look there. And one of the figure up close, and one on the side, so you can just see how those bits on his cheek works, because obviously the annoying part when you're painting these sort of figures, you've got to put a bit more realism into these than what the Clone Wars ones were, as the helmets and all that slightly disproportionate. Okay, so off we go. Hello, I'd just like to apologise for the poor camera angles during this video, but please enjoy. Okay, obviously I didn't do my research as good as I wanted, so I'm going to let his mohawk dry, and I'm going to scrape off the black on his brow, just to the fact that he has a brown brow, and I don't want it to have so many coats. I've got to go over it so many times, so if I just scrape it back to the white, and then I can just apply it as much as I can, like as on the mohawk. So in the meantime, I'm going to leave him to dry, and I'm going to start painting up the body. And I'm going to at least do his shins, and probably do start masking tape up his arms and get those parts into place. Right, yeah, I forgot to hit the record. So I've just done the bottom of his legs. We might need another little coat. And I've made a couple of mistakes. As I turned the guy around, he accidentally hit my brush stroke. So I'm just going to let that dry. So never think like, ruined. Just be patient, let it dry, and then come back to it a bit later on. So I'm going to put his legs up in the air. You can sit there and dry. Just get rid of some of this paint on my hands. Alright, so I'm going to have a go at the helmet again now. And I'm going to just scalpel out all his black part on there. And it goes all the way around as well. On him. And if you're a little bit worried about where he's got his writing on his back, it's just a big bubble. And on here, as a traditional one, it's just got a lot more detailing than on there. So I'm just going to have to just try it when I get to there. Just a comment down below if you want to ask me any questions, or you have any kind of clone troopers you want me to make. I've got a list. I've got my list just to the side of me. So I still want to make the 3 that was with Yoda, which is Fire, Jerick, and Reese. But it's still like Dogma, Hardcase, Jesse, Daniel, Frodo, and I was going to make Bly. Bly is on my list as well, but I may just wait until next year when they bring out Bly. But then I was kind of thinking about making a Phase 1 Rex and a Phase 1 Cody. But I'll see. But there's plenty of other clone troopers out there. And there's even one with a nod to Godzilla out there, so I might even make him maybe when the film's coming out. Also, we've got the new film, Rise of Skywalker, this year. Trailer looked alright. Must admit, I was one of those people that weren't into The Last Jedi. I did walk out of that film thinking I've just watched Spaceballs 2 and thinking it's actually canon. Hopefully with JJ back on, everything should be going to as foreseen. And also we've got Clone Wars as well, the final season out this year. Should be great. And may explain what happens to Rex, how he escapes Order 66. And then also along with all those, we've got the new Black Series, or Vintage, or whatever ones you're into. So hopefully Star Wars might start picking up again this year. As it's me being off Star Wars for, well, since The Last Jedi until about this year, it's not been one of my best things. I just literally just simply went to Marvel. But Marvel's always been since I was a kid, Marvel's always been my thing. But so is Star Wars. Literally my first memory of Star Wars was going to the old rental shop, and my brother was telling me to we could choose between two films, and he was telling me to like choose this one because it's got lightsabers and Darth Vader and these Ewoks and stuff like that. I must have been about 4, and yeah, that was my first memory of Star Wars. We always had the toys and all that, but as you're a kid, you sort of just remember just having the toys. You don't know really where they come from. Yeah, and since then, I never really looked back. I used to collect had all the old Kenners. Obviously, we was played with, and then in the 90s, we had the Power of Force that come out, with Luke looking like He-Man and all that. But I loved the Chewbacca. There was something about the Chewbacca. I loved it. But, yeah, collected all those, hundreds of them, absolutely hundreds, all the way up to the Phantom Menace ones. I even had the Mace Windu Mailway, the very first one in the green, and yeah, had the Rancor, the Ronto, literally everything that you could think of. And yeah, as we do, we get older, and I had to leave home, and that was the first thing that had to go because I was moving into a 1-bedroom flat, and yeah, had to get rid of it. Sold it all for £100. The boxes were all open, but they all had the boxes, and you know, because I used to have them on display. I never wanted to store figures away because I just think, what's the point? It's like I ain't going to sell them, and you might as well enjoy them. So even if getting your little grubby mitts on them just once out of the packet, I just think there's a time to enjoy whatever makes you happy. Yeah, so I sold it all for £100. So if that guy's still out there and watching, I want it back for the same price. Yeah, and that put me off buying Star Wars ever again. Always loved it. I never bought the figures. And then these bad boys come out, and I always wanted to start a new collection because every time Star Wars comes out, they just keep bringing more and more out, and I didn't want to keep sort of chasing old stuff because everyone kept buying Star Wars because they kept thinking it's going to be worth a lot of money like the originals. But when Clone Wars come out, I thought it was a great time just to start, and I just collect the Clone Wars, and yeah, I did. And then there was on the side, the little boy was getting a bit older, wanted to play with them, so in the end my collections were changing as well. Started going into NECA and Lego, so I gave it to the boy. But yeah, got the love for Star Wars come back again, and I digged out the old clones because he ain't playing with them. So I just thought, wouldn't it be brilliant to have these cool guys in cool figures, and I've decided to make them myself, and that's what got me here, starting on YouTube as well. Right, okay. I'm going to go back to this guy because hopefully he's a bit dry now. I'm going to start on his arms. I've just finished his helmet, just scraping all that off. Not all of it, but it's just enough to just so the paint will stick on it, and you'd have to go several coats over the black. So again, the masking tape that I use, it's like a vinyl. Well, it's not really a thing. It's better than paper masking tape. You still get a bit of bleed where it bleeds underneath, because sometimes it just lifts up a little bit from the figure because you can't get into the crevices and stuff. But it works 10 times better. I think the official tape that you can buy of this, you can get anywhere like for £1, but I think the official one that you're kind of looking forward to, want to spend the bucks, is Frog tape. So what I do when I'm looking at these figures, I kind of sort of like imagine where it's going, and I always try and sort of like aim for the same sort of width and distance. So he's got a thick one down his arm, so I'm going to go for just past his little button bit for his joint, just there. Make sure it's nice and straight. Now I'm just going to go the other side. Put his arms down his side just to make sure it's all straight. Just like that. And you can use the same tape. Depending how confident you are, obviously painting, the more you cover the better. But if you're okay, then just cover where you need to go. So not too bad because his hand plate is brown as well. So there we go, there's one arm that we can paint. I'm just going to do the same on the other side. You can always obviously use a ruler, and you can just measure how much your whips are on one side, and then just do the same on the other. Okay, just going to let him dry up there, and while he dries, I'm going to see you back in a mo. Okay, he's still drying, but what I'm going to do, I've just mixed up my white paint, and so as he's drying, I'm going to paint the holsters. Now I don't know how much this is going to take on, so I haven't got a primer, so I'm going to have to layer it on pretty thick on here. So find it hard which one I've done the extra thing last night, but I think it's this one. So that was the one that had the hole. So literally earlier, just sand it down to the same level and just trim the inside. So the gun could fit inside. And yeah, once it's painted you won't know a difference. It's actually going on not too bad actually. Right, I'm just going to paint these up and wait for him to dry, and go from there. Right, the guns are dry, the holsters are drying, so I've just mixed up another little pot, and that's with X1 black, and XF56, which is the metallic grey. Just putting a little bit more grey than black, and then just giving it a bit of a stir, and you get this sort of dark, very dark metallic colour, which comes out great for the guns. I'm just going to apply that on there. Some people do just paint them purely black and then do the dry brushing over it. But this just gives it that sort of gunmetal look straight away. Sexual. Right. So, gonna leave it there for tonight. I'm just gonna let things dry and let him dry over there because he's still a bit wet on his arm. And then it'll be onto the helmet and his accessories for next time, and then hopefully we'll be finishing him off. So this is Centurion. Subscribe, ding that bell, and see you next time.